Some countries are quietly preparing for the possibility of a much bigger conflict. Not tomorrow, hopefully, but they want to be ready. In this video, we're counting down 10 countries that appear to be preparing the most for a possible global war based on military spending, new weapons, and recent global events. And trust me, number 1 won't surprise you. Before we start, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which country do you think is most ready for World War III? Alright, let's begin. Number 10, Japan. For decades after World War II, Japan stayed mostly out of military conflicts. Its constitution even limited the country's ability to maintain a traditional military force. But recently, things have started to change, and change quickly. In 2022, Japan announced one of the biggest defense policy shifts in its modern history. The government revealed plans to double its military spending, aiming to reach about 2% of its GDP by 2027. That would make Japan the third largest military spender in the world, after the United States and China. Why the sudden shift? A big reason is growing security concerns in the region. North Korea continues testing ballistic missiles, some of which have flown over Japanese territory. At the same time, China has been increasing its military activity near Taiwan and in the East China Sea, close to Japanese islands. Japan is responding by upgrading its defense capabilities. The country has purchased Tomahawk cruise missiles from the United States, giving Japan the ability to strike enemy bases if necessary. It's also investing in next-generation fighter jets and advanced missile defense systems. On top of that, Japan has strengthened military cooperation with partners like the United States, Australia, and South Korea. So while Japan still promotes peace and diplomacy, it's clear the country is preparing for a future where security challenges in Asia could become much more serious. And that's why Japan lands at number 10 on our list. Number 9, Germany. For a long time, Germany kept its military spending relatively low. After the devastation of World War II, the country focused more on diplomacy and economic power rather than military strength. But the Russia-Ukraine war changed everything. In 2022, Germany's government announced a massive 100 billion euro special defense fund to rebuild and modernize its armed forces, known as the Bundeswehr. It was one of the biggest military spending decisions in the country's modern history. German leaders made it clear Europe's security environment had changed dramatically. Germany is now investing heavily in modern weapons and equipment. One major purchase includes F-35 stealth fighter jets, which can carry nuclear weapons as part of NATO's nuclear deterrence strategy. The country is also upgrading missile defense systems, tanks, and cyber defense capabilities. Defense spending has also increased significantly, moving closer to NATO's goal of 2% of GDP for military budgets. But it's not just about equipment. Germany is also taking on a bigger leadership role in European security and NATO operations. German troops are now more active in NATO deployments across Eastern Europe, especially in countries that feel threatened by Russia. For a country that once avoided military expansion, this shift is huge. Germany still prioritizes diplomacy, but it's also making sure that if another major conflict threatens Europe, it won't be caught unprepared. And that's why Germany takes number 9 on this list. Number 8, Iran. Iran's military strategy is very different from many other countries on this list. Instead of relying only on traditional armies and expensive equipment, Iran has focused heavily on missiles, drones, and asymmetric warfare. And that strategy has made Iran one of the most closely watched military powers in the Middle East. Over the past 2 decades, Iran has built one of the largest ballistic missile programs in the region. These missiles can reach targets across the Middle East, including Israel and U.S. military bases in nearby countries. Iran has also made major progress in drone technology. Iranian drones have appeared in several conflicts across the region, and they've become an important part of the country's military strategy. Tensions with Israel and the United States remain high, especially over Iran's nuclear program and regional influence. Because of that, Iran continues investing in weapon systems that can deter or respond to potential attacks. Another key part of Iran's strategy involves regional alliances and partner groups across the Middle East. This network gives Iran influence in multiple conflict zones. At the same time, Iran has strengthened ties with countries like Russia and China, expanding military cooperation and defense partnerships. All of these factors show that Iran is preparing for the possibility of larger regional conflicts and potentially even global ones, and that's why Iran comes in at number 8. Number 7, United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has long been one of the world's most capable military powers. Even though it's not the largest country, Britain still maintains one of the most advanced armed forces in Europe. And in recent years, the UK has been investing heavily to keep that edge. One major focus is the country's nuclear deterrent, based on the Trident missile system carried by nuclear-powered submarines. These submarines patrol the oceans constantly, ensuring that the UK always maintains a nuclear response capability. But nuclear weapons are only part of the story. The British military is also modernizing its conventional forces. The UK operates advanced aircraft like the the F-35 stealth fighter, along with aircraft carriers such as HMS Queen Elizabeth, which allow Britain to project military power far beyond its own borders. Defense spending in the UK has also increased in response to global tensions, especially after the war in Ukraine. Britain has played a major role in supporting allies and strengthening NATO's eastern defenses. At the same time, the UK is investing in cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, and next-generation military technology areas that experts believe will shape future conflicts. Put simply, Britain is making sure its military stays ready for modern warfare. With strong alliances, nuclear weapons, and advanced technology, the United Kingdom remains a key military power preparing for an uncertain global future. That's why it takes number 7 on our countdown. Number 6, India. India has one of the largest armed forces in the world, with more than 1.4 million active military personnel. But in recent years, the country hasn't just focused on size, it's been rapidly upgrading its military capabilities as well. India's defense budget has grown steadily, making it one of the top military spenders globally. The country has been investing in modern fighter jets, naval ships, missile systems, and advanced surveillance technology. One reason for this buildup is regional security concerns. India shares a long and sometimes tense border with China, and clashes between the two countries have occurred in recent years in the Himalayan region. At the same time, India's relationship with Pakistan has included multiple conflicts since both countries gained independence in 1947. Because of these challenges, India has focused heavily on strengthening its land forces and missile defense systems. India is also a nuclear-armed country, maintaining its own nuclear deterrent. In addition, the country has been expanding its navy to increase its presence in the Indian Ocean, a region that is becoming strategically important for global trade and security. India has also built stronger defense partnerships with countries like the United States, Japan, and Australia through regional cooperation group. All of this shows one clear goal. India wants to be ready for any major security challenge that could emerge in the future, and that's why India ranks number 6 on our list. Number 5, North Korea. When people talk about countries preparing for a possible global conflict, North Korea almost always comes up, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Despite having a relatively small economy, North Korea has spent decades focusing heavily. The country follows what it calls a military-first policy, meaning defense and weapons development come before almost everything else. The biggest concern for the world is North Korea's nuclear weapons and missile program. Over the past several years, North Korea has tested a wide range of missiles, including intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, that experts believe could potentially reach parts of the United States. Some tests in recent years have shown missiles flying over 6,000 kilometers, demonstrating serious long-range capability. At the same time, North Korea continues to expand its nuclear arsenal and improve missile technology. Military parades regularly showcase new weapons, including large mobile missile launchers. But missiles aren't the only thing. North Korea also maintains one of the largest standing armies in the world, with more than 1 million active troops. The country has heavily fortified borders and massive artillery positioned near South Korea. Tensions with South Korea, Japan, and the United States remain high, especially after repeated missile tests and military exercises in the region. Because of these ongoing tensions and its aggressive weapons development, North Korea is clearly preparing for potential conflict. And that's why it takes number 5 on our list. Number 4, Israel. If there's one country that constantly lives with security threats, it's Israel. Since its founding in 1948, Israel has faced multiple wars and ongoing regional tension. Because of that history, Israel has built one of the most advanced and battle-ready militaries in the world. One of Israel's biggest strengths is its missile defense systems. The famous Iron Dome system can intercept incoming rockets in mid-air, protecting cities from attacks. Israel also operates other advanced systems like David's Sling and the Arrow missile defense system, designed to stop larger and longer-range missiles. But Israel doesn't rely on defense alone. The country also has highly advanced Air Force capabilities, including stealth aircraft like the F-35 fighter jet, which allows Israel to strike targets far beyond its borders if necessary. Another major advantage is Israel's mandatory military service. Most Israeli citizens serve in the military, which means the country can quickly mobilize large numbers of trained reservists during a crisis. Israel is also known for its intelligence and cyber warfare capabilities, which play a huge role in modern security operations. Tensions with Iran and various armed groups in the region continue to shape Israel's military planning. Because of these ongoing threats, the country remains in a constant state of military readiness. In short, Israel doesn't just prepare for war occasionally, it prepares all the time. And that puts Israel at number 4. Number 3, Russia. When it comes to military power, Russia remains one of the most important players in the world. The country possesses one of the largest nuclear arsenals on Earth, with thousands of nuclear warheads capable of reaching targets across the globe. This alone makes Russia a central factor in any discussion about global conflict. But Russia's military strength isn't just about nuclear weapons. Over the past decade, the country has invested heavily in modernizing its armed forces. This includes new tanks, advanced fighter jets, improved missile systems, and modern naval equipment. Russia has also developed some of the world's most talked about weapons, including hypersonic missiles, which travel at extremely high speeds and are difficult for current defense systems to intercept. Of course, Russia's role in the war in Ukraine, which began in 2022, has dramatically reshaped global security. The conflict has led to increased tensions between Russia and many Western countries, especially members of NATO. At the same time, Russia continues strengthening its military partnerships and expanding its strategic capabilities. Despite the economic pressure from sanctions and the long war, Russia still maintains a massive military structure and nuclear deterrent. All of this means Russia remains one of the most significant military powers on the planet and a key country preparing for the possibility of larger global conflicts. That's why Russia ranks at number 3. Number 2, China. Over the past 2 decades, China has carried out one of the fastest military expansions in modern history. Today, China has the largest navy in the world by number of ships, and its military budget has grown dramatically year after year. In fact, China now has the second largest defense budget globally, behind only the United States. But it's not just about numbers. China has been investing heavily in advanced military technology, including hypersonic weapons, artificial intelligence, cyber warfare systems, and next-generation fighter jets. One of the biggest areas of tension involving China is the Taiwan Strait. China considers Taiwan part of its territory, while Taiwan operates as a self-governing democracy. Military activity around the region has increased significantly in recent years. China has also strengthened its military presence in the South China Sea, where several countries dispute territorial claim. Meanwhile, China continues modernizing its nuclear forces and expanding long-range missile capability. Chinese leaders have openly stated their goal of building a world-class military by 2049, the 100th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. All of these developments show that China is preparing to operate as a major global military power for decades to come. And that's exactly why China takes number 2 on our list. Number 1, United States. At number 1, it's the country with the largest and most powerful military in the world, the United States. The United States spends more on defense than any other nation. In recent years, the annual military budget has exceeded $800 billion, which is larger than the defense budgets of many other countries combined. This enormous budget supports a global military network. The United States operates hundreds of military bases around the world, allowing its forces to respond quickly to crises almost anywhere on the planet. From Europe to the Middle East to the Pacific, American troops are stationed in strategic locations. The U.S. military also operates 11 aircraft carriers, more than any other country. These floating air bases allow the United States to project power across oceans. Then there's technology. The U.S. continues developing advanced weapons systems and next-generation defense technology. It also maintains a powerful nuclear triad, land-based missiles, nuclear submarines, and strategic bomber. On top of that, the United States leads many global alliances, including NATO, which significantly expands its military influence. All of this means that if a large global conflict ever happened, the United States would almost certainly play a central role. That's why the United States stands firmly at number 1. So those were 10 countries preparing the most for a possible World War III. Hopefully, global leaders continue choosing diplomacy instead of conflict. But now I'm curious, which country do you think is the most prepared for a global war? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more global analysis videos.